Welcome to the Architects of History, a new podcast series.
Welcome to the very first deep dive in our new series, Architects of the Ancient World.
It feels like we're stepping onto a huge historical construction site, doesn't it?
Exactly, one that spans millennia, continents,
Yeah.
built by some, truly extraordinary individuals.
Yeah, people who weren't just, living through history. They were actively designing it,
Yeah,
building the foundations.
foundations of civilizations, yeah. And their choices, their creations, they still resonate today, sometimes in ways we barely even notice.
That's the fascinating part.
So think of them as the master planners, maybe the structural engineers, the visionaries of the ancient world. This series, we're going to dig into their lives, their minds, their legacies. But first, for this deep dive, we wanted to tackle a core question.
Kind of the why behind it all.
Exactly. Why does understanding these historical figures, these architects, and their impact, why does it actually matter?
It seems obvious on the surface, maybe, but when you dig in, it's pretty deep. History isn't just a list of dates and names.
No, it's dusty books for some people, but it's really about understanding ourselves, isn't it? And the world we're in right now.
Precisely. You know that quote from David McCullough? History is who we are and why we are the way we are. It puts it perfectly.
It really does. And you can't grasp that why without understanding the people who did the shaping, the architects.
Right, and it goes beyond just, academic curiosity.
Oh, yeah. It's about getting insights into, the human condition, how societies change, the forces at play.
So what is it then? What draws us to these figures from, thousands of years ago?
I think fundamentally it's just human curiosity about other humans, isn't it? We're wired for stories.
In history, especially individual lives, it's just this incredible collection of stories.
Totally. You see these big names, Alexander the Great, Cleopatra, whoever, and you immediately wonder, okay, but who were they as people?
What were they thinking? What did they struggle with?
Yeah. And you look at their lives, their choices, and maybe you see little reflections of yourself, ambitions, relationships.
Flaws, failures.
Absolutely. The whole messy human package. It's about getting behind the historical label, connecting with the person.
And understanding their motivations. That's huge.
Yeah.
What drove them? Why that decision? What was their inner world like? In a world so different from ours.
Okay, so that's the human connection side. But how do we actually do that? How do we investigate? That brings us to the evidence, right? The methods.
Yes. The bedrock. You can't just speculate wildly. It has to be grounded in sources.
So what kind of sources are we talking about for the ancient world? It must be tough.
It really is. We rely on primary sources, things like inscriptions carved in stone,
Yeah.
maybe some papyrus fragments,
Official records.
sometimes, or archaeological finds, pottery, buildings, tombs. Very occasionally, you might get something close to an eyewitness account, but that's rare, and you have to be so careful with it. These are scarce, fragmented.
And then there are secondary sources, what later historians wrote.
Exactly. People who have also wrestled with this scattered evidence, offering their interpretations, is all part of the puzzle.
It really does sound like detective work, piecing things together from clues that might even contradict each other.
That's a great way to put it. And yeah, they often do contradict. Every source has a bias, a perspective. You have to be critical.
So asking questions like, who made this? Why? For whom?
Constantly. Is this a king boasting on a monument? That's one thing. Is it a private letter? If you're incredibly lucky to find one, that's entirely different. You cross-reference, you look at the
You
content.
get to consider what's not there, too. The silences.
Oh, definitely. Gaps in the record can be incredibly revealing. What wasn't considered important enough to write down. What might have been deliberately erased. It tells you about the priorities of the time.
So it's about building the best possible picture, but always acknowledging what you don't know.
Precisely. Humility is key in history.
And this is where I think that humanistic approach comes back in to help fill some gaps, maybe. Not inventing things, but...
Right, it complements the hard evidence. When the sources are thin, understanding, basic human psychology, common reactions to power or fear or love, it helps you form more nuanced interpretations.
asking what someone might have felt or thought, given the circumstances and what we know about people.
Exactly. It's about informed interpretation, trying to connect the dots between the scattered facts and the likely human experience behind them. It brings the data to life, in a way.
Okay, so we're carefully piecing together these lives, understanding the person and their world. But let's circle back to the why does it matter now question. Why should someone listening today care about, say, Hammurabi's legal thinking?
Well, because those actions, those ideas, They often set things in motion. They had long-term consequences that ripple right down to us.
Cascading effects.
Totally. Take Hammurabi's code. Understanding the context, the pressures he faced, the society he ruled it, helps us trace the lineage of codified law. The very idea that laws should be written down and applied systematically, that's part of our world's DNA.
Or think about Alexander the Great. His conquests weren't just about winning battles.
Not at all. They smashed old empires and created this huge cultural mixing pot.
Hellenistic age.
Right. And the influence of that era on art, science, philosophy, even how cities were run, it lasted for centuries. It influenced Rome, which then influenced, well, us. The echoes are still there.
And it's not just rulers and conquerors. You mentioned architects of ideas.
Yes. Philosophers like Socrates, or maybe Confucius in a different tradition, religious innovators. They build frameworks for thinking about ethics, society, the universe.
Intangible structures, but maybe even more powerful in the long run.
Arguably, yes. Their ideas shaped how people understood their place in the world for millennia. And understanding their personal journeys, the questions they were asking, the societies they were responding to, it gives you a richer sense of where our own values come from.
You see the origins, the debates that formed them.
And you also have to remember, these figures didn't just pop up out of nowhere.
Right, they were products of their time.
Absolutely. So studying them is also a fantastic way to understand their broader world. The social structures, the economy, religious beliefs, what technology they had or didn't have.
So a single life becomes a lens onto a whole civilization.
It really can be. And through that lens, we often see those universal human things we talked about.
Ambition, love, fear, innovation.
People navigating crises, people challenging the status quo, people wrestling with morality. These are our struggles too, just in different clothes.
And the range of what they built. You mentioned tangible things.
Yeah, like the pyramids, Roman aqueducts, entire cities, physical transformations of the landscape, shaping the world literally.
But then there are the intangible builders.
The ones who built legal systems, philosophical schools, artistic movements, religions, structures of thought, beliefs, society. Sometimes harder to see, but maybe even more enduring.
Now, it's important we don't just, put all these figures on pedestals. Architect doesn't always mean good architect, right?
Critically important point. Some foundations they laid were for systems of oppression, ideologies that caused immense suffering.
And understanding how those figures rose, their methods, why people followed them, that's vital too, maybe even more so.
Absolutely. History isn't about hero worship. It's about critical understanding, looking at the whole picture, warts and all.
And our understanding changes over time, doesn't it? How we see these figures.
Constantly. New discoveries are made. But also, our own values shift. A conqueror celebrated in one culture might be viewed very differently by those they conquered, or by us today looking back with a different ethical framework.
That reevaluation is just part of the process. History is alive.
It has to be.
So bringing it all together, what can studying these ancient lives in all their complexity teach us about navigating our world, the divisions, the challenges we face right now?
I think they offer perspective, a really long-term view. You see patterns emerge in leadership and how societies handle change and the consequences of power, both good and bad.
It's like a bigger data set for understanding human behavior in complex situations.
Kinda, yeah. By looking at their successes, their failures, their wisdom, their mistakes, we get a richer toolkit for analyzing our own times. Think about leadership alone.
Okay.
How did they communicate, manage diverse groups, deal with dissent, build consensus? The specific tools were different, no internet. But the fundamental challenges of leading people, there are surprising parallels.
We can analyze their strategies, see the outcomes. Hindsight helps there.
A lot. And maybe on a deeper level, it cultivates empathy.
How so?
Well, when you really try to immerse yourself in a completely different time and culture, you have to try and see the world through their eyes. It forces you to question your own assumptions about what's normal or right.
It broadens your understanding of what it even means to be human.
Exactly. And it hammers home that our way of life, our beliefs, they weren't inevitable. They're the result of countless choices made by people in the past under circumstances we can barely grasp sometimes.
Especially in the ancient world. It really feels like the laboratory where so many core ideas were first forged, right? Law, government, philosophy.
The crucible, yeah. These figures were often working with fewer blueprints than anyone who came after. They were truly architects in that sense.
Laying cornerstones, drawing plans for things that hadn't really existed before in that form, building on ruins sometimes or on totally new ground.
Both literally and, intellectually.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to understand their vision, the struggles they faced, making it real, the materials they had to work with, socially, politically. It's fascinating.
It also highlights the constraints they faced, things we take for granted.
Which brings us back to context. Context is everything.
Understanding their world, their values, what they knew or didn't know.
We can't just judge them by 21st century standards. That doesn't mean we excuse brutality or injustice,
No, of course not.
but we try to understand why things happened the way they did.
Yeah.
We can analyze the ethics from our viewpoint, but understanding comes first.
And that perspective history gives. It's powerful. It can be humbling, can't it? Seeing the big sweep of time.
Definitely humbling. Makes you feel quite small sometimes.
But also empowering, seeing that individuals really can change the course of history.
Yes, that's the flip side. For better or worse, individuals have agency. Their choices matter. Their ideas can reshape the world.
That interplay, the person and their times, that's what we want to explore in this series.
Exactly. Going beyond just lifting achievements, we want to ask, what drove them? What were the turning points? How did their personality leak into their decisions, into history?
And ultimately, what's their lasting legacy? What foundations are still under our feet today, maybe hidden?
It's a journey into the past, sure,
Yeah.
but one that shines a light right back onto our present and maybe helps us think about the future.
Because history is like this ongoing conversation between then and now.
Yeah, our current concerns shape the questions we ask of the past.
And the answers we find, or the new questions that come up, they inform how we move forward. It's a continuous loop.
It really is, like holding up an ancient mirror to see ourselves more clearly.
Okay, so quick recap then. Why this deep dive into ancient lives? It's about origins, learning from experience, good and bad thinking critically,
Fostering empathy, understanding humanity better.
and appreciating the sheer complexity of building, well, anything lasting. Societies, ideas,
The past isn't somewhere else. It's the ground we're standing on.
and the stories of the people who shaped that ground, the architects, they really are relevant to us now.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening as we wrap this first one up.
Yeah, something to chew on. Whose shoulders do you think our modern world stands on most firmly? Which ancient architects had the biggest impact, in your view?
And maybe more personally, what foundations are you building in your own life, your work? What are you contributing for the future?
Big questions. But hopefully the kind this series will spark. We're really excited to get into the specific stories now.
Me too. Next time, we take that first proper step back. We meet one of the earliest, most influential architects, someone who really helped define civilization from the ground up.
It's going to be fascinating. Thank you for joining us for this introduction, A Word with History. Please do subscribe so you don't miss the journey ahead.
We hope you'll join us. Until next time, may your curiosity about the past enrich your present.
Please subscribe us for more podcasts. Have a good day.